In this overview of Andrew Jackson's military campaign in Florida, we will cover the context and prelude to the campaign, the First Seminole War and Jackson's aggressive tactics, the international repercussions and domestic controversy, and the Adams-Onís Treaty and Jackson's lasting legacy. Context and prelude to the campaign. Andrew Jackson's military campaign in Florida is one of the most controversial episodes in American history. His bold actions led the U.S. acquisition of Florida, but also sparked significant debate and international tensions. In the early 19th century, Florida was under Spanish rule. The territory was of strategic importance to the United States, serving as a haven for runaway slaves and hostile Native American groups like the Seminoles. The region's instability created tensions between the U.S. and Spain, with American settlers pushing for stronger control over the area. The presence of these threats prompted the U.S. government to take action. Andrew Jackson, a seasoned military leader, was tasked with leading the campaign to address these issues, setting the stage for a significant and controversial intervention in Spanish-held Florida. The First Seminole War and Jackson's aggressive tactics. The First Seminole War began in 1817, driven by conflicts between American settlers and the Seminole Indians, who were resisting displacement and aiding runaway slaves. Andrew Jackson was ordered to lead a military campaign against the Seminoles. His instructions allowed him to pursue them into Spanish Florida if necessary. Jackson, known for his aggressive tactics, saw this as an opportunity to assert American power. His campaign aimed to subdue the Seminoles and eliminate the sanctuary they provided for escaped slaves, ultimately leading to a broader conflict with Spanish authorities in the region. Jackson's campaign quickly escalated beyond his official orders. In 1818, he invaded Spanish Florida and captured key forts, including St. Mark's and Pensacola. These actions were aimed at dismantling the Seminole strongholds and securing American interests in the region. Jackson deposed the Spanish governor and established American authority, actions that effectively amounted to an unauthorized seizure of Spanish territory. International repercussions and domestic controversy. The international repercussions were immediate. Spain strongly protested against Jackson's invasion, viewing it as an illegal and aggressive act. European powers, already wary of American expansionism, were concerned about the precedent set by Jackson's unilateral actions. Within the United States, Jackson's campaign sparked significant controversy. While some praised his decisive action and the strategic benefits, it brought others to condemn him for overstepping his authority and risking diplomatic relations. The U.S. government was divided. President James Monroe and Secretary of State John Quincy Adams saw the strategic value in Jackson's actions, recognizing the opportunity to strengthen American territorial claims. However, other officials criticized Jackson for his disregard of constitutional and diplomatic protocols. This internal conflict highlighted the broader debate over the limits of executive power and the aggressive expansionist policies of the era. The Adams-Onís Treaty and Jackson's legacy. The U.S. government's response to Jackson's actions were mixed. President Monroe and Secretary of State Adams supported Jackson's bold moves, seeing them as a means to pressure Spain into negotiations. Adams in particular used Jackson's occupation of Florida as leverage in discussions with Spain. This strategy paid off as Spain, weakened and unable to defend its distant territory effectively, agreed to negotiate. Despite internal condemnation for some officials who feared Jackson has overstepped his authority, the aggressive approach ultimately strengthened the U.S. position. The divided response within the government underscored the tension between maintaining diplomatic norms and pursuing national interests through assertive actions. The aggressive tactics employed by Jackson set the stage for the Adams-Onís Treaty of 1819. The negotiations influenced by Jackson's actions resulted in Spain ceding Florida to the United States. The treaty's terms included the U.S. assuming $5 million in claims by American citizens against Spain and relinquishing claims to Texas. This agreement solidified American control over Florida and marked a significant territorial expansion for the young nation. Following the treaty, Jackson was appointed the first military governor of Florida, further cementing his role in the territory's transition to American governance. His leadership in Florida exemplified the aggressive and often unilateral approach to territorial expansion that characterized much of U.S. policy during this period. Andrew Jackson's actions in Florida had profound immediate and long-term impacts. The acquisition of Florida opened new opportunities for American settlers and significantly expanded U.S. territory. Jackson's campaign demonstrated the willingness of the United States to use military force to achieve strategic goals, setting a precedent for future territorial expansions. The controversy surrounding his methods highlighted the tension between constitutional authority and executive action. Jackson's aggressive policies and disregard for diplomatic norms left a lasting legacy reflecting both the ambitions and complexities of American expansionism during the early 19th century. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out one of our many playlists on American